Hi, this is Janice Skychi Travels with the Skychi Travel Guide Live. And today is Travel Tuesday. We have a special edition as today is November 11th. It is Veterans Day. It's a special holiday to honor those who served in the military in the wars, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, and all the wars after that. So we are going to be talking about a special way to honor the veterans. So let me see, let me get this off of here. I'll be with you guys in 1 minute. I'm looking for how to get in. Oh, there we go. Okay. So hi, everybody. This is Janice, and I'm a former flight attendant with what used to be American Eagle Airlines, which is based in Chicago. And so once a year, I would go through DC, Washington, DC, that is. And in Washington, DC, they would have what is called the honor flight. And the honor flight gives honor to veterans who served in the war. So basically, they fly veterans for free to Washington, DC, and a member of the family can accompany them because a lot of veterans are in their 80s or more. And so I know that Airlines has the honor flight as well, although I haven't found the information on the internet. I'm going to share it with you guys. So they're actively looking for World War II veterans to honor them by flying them to Washington, DC. So it's a free trip for the day. And they fly them there and they provide all the meals and the transportation, and they take them to the World War II Memorial, which is on the Mall in Washington, D.C. And it's a phenomenal program. So if you're ever in the airport in D.C. and you see people getting off the airplane and they have balloons and they're clapping, people are clapping and clapping and clapping. So it's just a wonderful experience to honor them in that way. So I want to share that with you because they're trying to reach the soldiers before they die. So I think it's an awesome program. Oh, I'm trying to do a hand clap. I guess a bell rang. So anyway, there we go. So I just wanted to give an applause, a shout out to all the veterans who have served in the war. And I want to share my story about my father, who is a Marine. He served in the Korean War, not he served in the Korean War. So he served from 1950 to 1958 as a Marine at Camp Pendleton. And in those days, we are from Chicago, so his mother and father took him to Navy Pier. And at Navy Pier, there were, I believe, 1 platoon of blacks and 2 platoon of whites. And so there was like an order in the 40s to integrate the soldiers. So he was in the all-black platoon, and then there were 2 all-white platoons. And so they were told to mix together. So they did, and they went to Union Station, and they got on the train. And Chicago was segregated at that time. So they get to Dallas, and they get off the train, and they see water fountains that say for white only, water fountains that say for colored only. The toilets say white-only toilets and colored-only toilets. And so people were staring at them, and they were not happy to see an integrated group of soldiers. So the soldiers during that time, especially in the South, taking the train, for example, if soldiers were coming from Georgia or North Carolina, and they were taking the train to Camp Pendleton in California, they were told to stay away from the windows and to keep the shades down in order to protect themselves. So during those times, during the 40s and the 50s, they had to fight at home. So they were fighting Americans at home. They weren't even fighting the enemies overseas. That's who they wanted to fight. But they had to fight in order to fight, as somebody shared with me on Facebook. So I just want to give a hand clap, another hand clap to the veterans. And so now I'm going to do a screen share with you. Attempt to do a screen share. I want to share with you the free trip that I mentioned that's available. They're looking for World War II veterans, and they want to send them to Washington, D.C. to see the World War II memorial. So let me pull this up. Okay. And okay, so we're doing a screen share now, so you can see my screen. So the name of the program is called Honor Flight Chicago, and it's not just in Chicago. They have this everywhere all over the U.S. But this particular website is for Chicago, so you can go here, and it gives the history of the Honor Flight Chicago. It says the American veteran is one of our greatest treasures, the men and women who answered our nation's call, especially at times of our greatest need. At Honor Flight Chicago, our mission is to thank and pay tribute to these heroes, especially our World War I veterans, by bringing them to Washington, D.C. for a day of honor and remembrance at no cost to them. So this program is completely free. It says there's an estimated 25,000 World War I veterans living in the Chicagoland area, and we want to reach and honor each and every one. Won't you join us as we treat these humble, unassuming men and women to a most extraordinary day? And then it says refer a World War II veteran. So I'm pretty sure when I saw the program, they were honoring World War II veterans. So I think this website might need to be a little bit updated because the World War II veterans are now in their 80s and 90s. So I'm sure that that those are the veterans that they're looking for at this time is World War II, despite what this website says. So now we're going to go to more information. It says an honor flight on a typical day. You'll check in at Midway Airport at 4:30 a.m. This allows you time for checking in, processing with TSA, and then you'll arrive at Washington Dulles Airport. They also have it at Washington Reagan Airport as well, where you arrive. The highlight of the trip is to visit the World War I Memorial, where you have ample time to marvel at its beauty. So let me see if I can find. Okay, and then it says how to apply. So this is a free trip for the soldiers who served in the war. And so you go to how to apply. Every World War I veteran in Chicagoland is invited to apply to travel with the honor flight from Chicago to Washington, D.C. for their special day of honor and remembrance. If you are a World War I veteran or know somebody who is, download a veteran application. And so you just click on this blue link and you can download the application. And then you mail it or you fax it in to this address. Honor Flight Chicago, attention, veteran application. 938 West Montana Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60614. The fax number 773-289-0909. And you send this in and they will notify you. So let's see. I want to share something else with you. Okay, so Operation Locate a Hero. Honor Flight Chicago needs your help to identify, recruit, and sign up our World War II veterans for their Day of Honor in Washington, D.C. Click here for a veterans application. So they are looking for World War II veterans as well. And it says non-World War I veterans. Note, we are currently flying only World War I veterans and will continue to do so until we have flown all World War I veterans who are interested. We will then begin flying Korea War veterans, followed by Vietnam veterans. Veterans from both those wars are welcome to submit applications at this time, although we cannot predict when we'll begin flying those applicants. So if you're in if you're in the Korean War and the Vietnam War, you can submit your application as well. So there is a coverage map. So you have to live near certain airports. And this one is for Chicago Airport. And so if you're outside of these boundaries, you have to have somebody to drive you. And if you need oxygen, just let them know. But you have to have somebody to drive you within this area. And then you can make it to the Chicago Midway Airport or Chicago O'Hare Airport. And let's see, frequently asked questions. Let's go to that. Okay, here's some frequently asked questions. Click on the question and the answer will appear. Your concerns not addressed, please feel free to call our office at 733-227-VETS 8387, and your call will be returned within a day by one or two of our dedicated volunteer ambassadors. Nothing in life is free. What's the catch? There is no catch, we promise. As a nation, it took almost 60 years to build a memorial to your service and sacrifice during World War II. The least that we can do is bring you to Washington, D.C. to see the memorial that was built in your honor. It is our small way of saying thank you for saving the world from tyranny. Will health issues prevent a veteran from flying? Many, if not most of our veterans will need to use a wheelchair for all or a good portion of the day. And we have enough wheelchairs and support personnel to accommodate every veteran on each flight. We travel through Washington, D.C. in luxury buses that have wheelchair lifts available if needed. We also fly veterans who require the use of oxygen. Any veteran requiring oxygen must submit a prescription from the doctor for oxygen use while on the trip. What if I require a wheelchair or oxygen? Well, they just said that they do provide those things. Every veteran who flies with us will have a wheelchair available, and most of our veterans will use the chair for some or all of the day. Even veterans who have never sat in a wheelchair before welcome the chance to take a rest during a portion of the day. We recognize that this day of honor is a very long day. And if you've ever been to Washington Mall, It's a very, very, very long walk. Oh my goodness, it's a very long walk. So they will probably need the wheelchairs. Oxygen. If a veteran requires oxygen, their healthcare provider must supply a prescription for it, which identifies the delivery method, mask, or nasal cannula. Frequency is needed or continuously, and the rate of delivery, liters per minute. Honor Flight Chicago will provide the veteran with the oxygen concentrator for the flight as well as the oxygen bottle for the day. I really wanted to go, but now I'm just too old. You are in good company since the average age of our World War I veteran is 89.5. On each trip, we have veterans who can't see, veterans who can't hear most, and veterans who can't walk. Yet after the trip, the veterans almost always tell us their day with Honor Flight Chicago was by far one of the best days of their lives. To have to live in the Chicagoland area to go with Honor Flight Chicago? No, we accept applications from veterans in other areas that may not have Honor Flight hubs or those that prefer to fly from Chicago. All veterans and guardians are responsible for any travel expenses other than the round-trip airfare from Midway to Dulles and back to Midway and ground charter transportation while in Washington, D.C. I am not a World War II hero. Those guys paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and are not with us today. If you served, you answered your country's call to duty, whether you were a mail clerk, an airplane mechanic, or a frontline soldier. All jobs were important to the overall war effort. We ask you to fly with us in recognition of your part in the war effort and to honor those who did not return. We have a short ceremony at the World War I Memorial where we will pay tribute to our fallen heroes whose dreams and aspirations were cut short by the war. And I'm pretty sure that now that they're visiting the World War II Memorial since it is now open. Elected to go on the flight. World War I veterans and World War II veterans fill out a veteran application available at honorflightchicago.org and either fax or mail the application to the office. Medical forms are then sent to the veteran to complete in order that the application was received. Once we receive the completed medical form, our flight team works to invite our veterans to fly for their day of honor. Veterans are generally called for a specific flight about 3 to 4 weeks before the flight date. Are Korean War veterans and Vietnam veterans allowed to fly? Not yet, but please be patient. We are currently serving our World War I population. After we have flown all interested World War I veterans, we will begin honoring our Korean War veterans. So get your applications in now. We will honor our Vietnam veterans for their service and sacrifice. Question, I'd like to have my spouse accompany me. Can she fly with me or he? Unfortunately, we cannot have spouses fly with the honor flight unless the spouse is also a veteran. Our priority is to honor those who served our country in the time of need. My mom was recently widowed. She did not serve in the military, but my dad did. Can she fly with Honor Flight Chicago to honor him? Again, unfortunately, we cannot accommodate these requests. Our mission is to serve our veterans, and our resources are devoted solely to this mission. Will my dad, mom have to pay anything? There's no cost to the veteran for him, her to fly with us. Flights are fully funded through private donations. How much does it cost? Who pays for the trip? Our World War I veterans have already given so much through their service to our country. All costs associated with the veterans trip include airfare to and from Washington, D.C. are covered by Honored Flight Chicago. Guardians pay $498 each for the honor of escorting a World War I hero to Washington, D.C. This is a reduced great for our medical team to fly. Flights are funded by donations from individuals, corporations, foundations, schools, military organizations, and other fraternal organizations who wish to be an important part of honoring those heroes and who recognize the urgent need to fly our World War I veterans to see their memorial. No funding is received from the government. Can another family member fly with my mom and dad as an escort or a guardian? Guardians are picked by flight selection team based on a number of factors. The number of guardians varies, depends on the need of the veterans, on that particular flight. Guardians must be at least 18 and no more than 64 years of age and be able to easily lift 100 pounds since they will be assisting veterans in or out of wheelchairs, up and down stairs, etc. First priority is given to doctors and nurses who dedicate their time and expertise to help make our trips safe. Active duty personnel and Honor Flight Chicago volunteers who have provided long-term consistent volunteer service to Honor Flight Chicago and serve as our flight crew. Guardians pay for their own trip and must attend a mandatory training session. Important note, family members of veterans are invited to apply to be part of our guardian team. However, we are unable to guarantee that they will be invited on the flight. When filling out a guardian application, it is important that you indicate on the guardian application the name of the veteran you wish to fly with. There are a limited number of spots available for family members, guardians on each flight, so unfortunately, not all family members who apply to be guardians will be able to accompany their veteran on the flight. Also, each veteran is only allowed one guardian. And then how do you get an application? You get the application on this website. And can an individual organization sponsor a specific veteran? Can I give the trip as a gift surprise to a veteran? No, veteran applications are filled on a first come, first served basis. Donations are always accepted, but cannot be earmarked for a specific veteran. Occasionally, children of our World War I veterans sign up their mother or father for a flight as a surprise. When a veteran is subsequently mailed medical forms as part of the application process, he is unaware of the surprise and the forms are disregarded. In this event, the veteran never has a chance to share in his or her day of honor. So it is imperative that the veteran be involved in the application process from the beginning. So it's not advisable to surprise your mother or father with the honor flight, because they may not fill out the forms. How can I find out information on upcoming flights and the homecoming? Please check our website and Facebook page periodically for flight updates. The general public is always invited to welcome our returning heroes home the evening of the flight. We do not recommend that you join us in the AM since you must have a ticket in order to clear security. What do I wear the day of the flight? As a veteran, you will receive a t-shirt from us on the flight day that we ask you to wear during your day. The only exception to this rule is if a veteran would like to wear his or her uniform instead. Guardians are given a different shirt that they must wear on the flight day. During the mandatory guardian training class prior to flight day. What if I need to bring medication on the flight? Medications do not need to be in their original containers. Please bring a 2-day supply just to be safe. Can I buy Honor Flight Chicago apparel? Yes, we have apparel available for purchase on our website. Please go to honorflightchicago.org and click on Honor Flight Chicago store. So I would ask you to share this information with others so that we can help find all the World War I and World War II veterans to fly them to Washington, D.C. It says 22,000 World War II veterans live in the Chicago area. 5,335 have flown with the Honor Flight Chicago. Help us reach out to veterans today. So I would ask you to do that to assist them. And I think that this is a fantastic program to honor. It's such a great way to honor our veterans who have served. So please do spread the word. And that is all for Skychi Travels today. So if I ask you to give us a thumbs up, to like our video, please share it and comment on it. If there's anything that you would like me to cover in the next video, please put it in the comment sections, any questions. So I just want to thank you guys for joining us on the video. And I'm going to give another shout out. There you go. And we're going to give a shout out to our veterans. And I want to say ciao. Happy Veterans Day.